way. But as a developer, I'm just a private person doing business.
Yeah, that's true. I agree, 100%.
Thank you for the information. I'm just curious as to some more names of the different services that perform these tasks, like team management, things of that nature, like selling the deals. Are there certain websites that put these systems into effect that you could share?
Now, I mentioned to you earlier, I think you talked to me about having the rental property issue. Yes. Now, setting up like team management, okay? For instance, sometimes it can be as simple as managing your team on Microsoft Outlook. You know, there's other programs that I'll get into tomorrow, and you know, there's a lot of resources, but the way we manage our virtual people is a lot of times just through tasks on Outlook. Are you familiar with how Microsoft Outlook works? Without, you know, getting overly complicated, because once again, we're talking about virtual systems, and it may sound, you know, complicated, but I always want to break it down to its lowest common denominator. So from simply having a software program where you can send tasks to people, they can send you responses, they can accept, decline, you can have meetings that are meeting requests, you can do things in Outlook, and it's just part of the whole Microsoft package that will allow you to manage some of these different people. Now, you know, the contact management software I mentioned also allows you to set appointments, to track tasks, to assign things to people, because, you know, we talked about the equation earlier with you in the middle. We don't want to have that be, you know, have it change over to be that way with a whole bunch of virtual people. You know, one of the things that I tell investors to do when they're first getting started, one of the first people you want to have around you is, whether they be virtual or not, is an assistant to help you organize yourself, help you, you know, even from just scheduling your time out. And then from there, you may want to look at, as you grow, into getting like a right-hand person, you know, and then having them manage some of the different people in place, because that will allow you to free up, allow you to do different businesses. Now, that takes trust, that takes time, but the bottom line is, you want to be able to move yourself into the business owner and into the investor category, and it's not going to happen overnight. But you know, being able to manage your time, being able to manage your team, and having, because that's the one thing is that even with virtual people, you still have to inspect what you expect. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm glad I got all this stuff off my plate," and boom, you know, you guys handle it, and I'm out of it. You still have to oversee the process. And from simple things like monthly reports to weekly reports, you've always, you know, even from like what I want my VAs to do is let me know who you talked to, what the subject of the conversation was, and what you did next, okay? And so that I can say, from a management standpoint, what you need to do differently. You can also, there's different things where you can, and not to go too deep, but you can record calls, just like a call center would, so that you can monitor how people are on the phone. Because although we're virtual, the phone is still a part of what we're doing, even if it's not you. You had one more question, managing teams?
Selling and attracting, thank you. Selling and attracting buyers?
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole matrix. There's a lot of different things that I'll talk about tomorrow on how you can find buyers. I mean, even, you know, from Craigslist, having properties posted on Craigslist. There's websites like postlets.com, postlets.com, which is a website that will allow you to, you will upload your deals to that one site, and then that site will send your deals to 10 different sites. And you've got software sites like that that will do the same thing with your video, with your audio, so that you can just have, you know, one click, and then it goes out to different places. So really having, and this is the one thing I'll say that I think I got to run in a minute, but one of the things in marketing your property is you want to be as marketing savvy as possible. You know, if you're wholesaling, I get so many emails that say, I got a property on 55 6th Street, it's $30,000, it needs $10,000 in work, and its ARV is 65, call me. You got to go beyond that. You got to give people the information that you're getting, the pictures, the photos, the information about the areas. And that's what attracts buyers. That's what attracts people to you, because you stand out in the crowd. And then using some of the social networking sites, like having your stuff on, your postings on MySpace and YouTube, and using as much of that for marketing, but also for credibility, but also for you to stand out in the marketplace of all the sellers, whether you're retailing, whether you're rehabbing, whether you're finding tenants. By integrating the virtual systems I'm talking about with things like social networking, it makes you different. And that's how the successful investors operate. They're different. They find their own space. They don't just copy what's, in a real estate book and say, I buy houses. They distinguish themselves. And that's, we always were marketing like we have the complete turnkey system, whether it be signs, online, offline. I've seen people market like Ugly Man Buys Houses, and just to be able to distinguish yourself from the group of investors out there is going to help you be successful. You had a question, and then I think one more.
You mentioned a lot. Your wife and you were in business. My wife was always been supportive of anything I've done. So because it's virtual, how really does your wife help you out in the business? What role does she really play?
Well, she's the backbone. I mean, she's very strong operationally. Now, we work together. The majority of the things that we do together are planning, are marketing related, are bigger picture things. She's not, like when we first got started, she was in, talking with sellers, talking with buyers. But now she's very part-time. She's a content provider. She's the backbone. But a lot of what she does is really with the kids, and I want her more of in a management type role, an overseeing role, not to deal with the day-to-day. And that's because we have 4 kids, and I'm involved as I can be, but, like when I'm out of town, she can't be, managing virtual assistants. They have to, there's other people that have to be in place. So her role is more like over here, decision-making, consulting, planning, not day-to-day. And that's by choice. If we didn't have kids, then she would probably be, up in everything. But I think it works well for us that way,